Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. No, it's Wednesday. Yeah, God, it does not feel like a Wednesday. It is one heck of a Wednesday, though. How's everyone doing today? I hope you are well, and if not, I hope things do get better. It has been a bit. I'm excited because spooky season. So, and of course, we will have music in the background. If it's too loud or too quiet, do tell me. Um, but as you can see, I have got a bunch of stones sorted. We are in the new update. I am very excited about it. Okay, it's not nighttime yet. It seems to have just turned day. Cool. I am so excited about this. The only thing I did off stream really was this, a little bit of texturing, so it looked a bit more worn and like bricked in areas. That's it. But we still have like a bunch of this left to do. So that's going to be the main plan for today. Also, let me just turn this back down to the 9 I normally keep it at now. I had it up to 10 just so I could see a few things better. Of course, there's still more to do with this, and it will take a lot of time. But we have made significant progress from the beginning of this. I know I'm excited about Halloween season because it is something I have been looking forward to for a long time. I love the Halloween season. There's just something so special about it for me. And I am really excited for it. Okay, let's make sure that's working. Cool. Yeah, just making sure certain things are working. I'm gonna do that so I can make sure I keep an eye on pre-roll. To the best of my ability, at least. Okay. But how is everyone today? I hope you are well. Just do this. Do. I actually thought about putting a few of the, like making a specifically Halloween-based plate. Because I know very well that with what we have, next up is gonna be Christmas stuff, and I'd rather not have that, preferably. So, eventually I'll change it so it's not, because I have it all in one playlist right now. I have thought about setting up a specific Halloween stream playlist, but I need to, like, check which I can actually play on stream, because I know I can't play certain things because DMCA. Hey, 22. Hope you're doing well today. It's finally October, meaning it's finally spooky month. So I am even more excited than usual. Honestly, it's been one crazy, like, last week worth of time for me, beating Absolute Radiance and the Pantheon to Slime Rancher 2's release and just enjoying Slime Rancher 2 to just spooky season and everything else. It's kind of crazy. Like, it's been one crazy ass, like, week worth of time. And I know I'm gonna be having dinner with my family tonight, and in the words of my mom, if the government shuts down, I'm making chicken and dumplings. And I'm like, okay, looks like I'm getting chicken and dumplings tonight. I love when she makes homemade chicken and dumplings because she always makes them homemade, and she's making them out of the sourdough starter, so I'm like, ooh, I'm so excited. One of the few good things to come out of it. But yeah, like, as we can see here, we have done so much. And yeah, I did clear out the village. I don't remember if I did that off or on stream. But yeah, the village is no more. Just a simple shadow of its former self. But Hope everyone is doing well. Okay. Boop 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 doop boop 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 doop. Yeah, I know I need to like work on a few things coming up with like stream stuff, and it's just been a pain in the ass because some of it has just been, oh yeah, it should be fixed, and it's broken still. And I'm like, God, it gets very tiring. I have gotten very used to it though. Whether that's good or not is up to you. I will say we are making significant progress, which makes me happy. Because progress is progress. Okay, we're gonna do it like this. I just think it adds more. And we'll add like some moss here and there as well, but for now it is just gonna be this. But yeah, I have been so damn excited for just this in general. Because now that it's Halloween season, I have so many fun ideas for like things to do just in my personal life and for streams, because I love horror games and stuff. So that's something I want to do a bit of if possible. I might play like a FNAF game or something, but I want to try, one of them that I've heard is good but never did play was Indigo Park. I'd love to see about getting friends together for Phasmophobia and stuff, because obviously. Like, it just seems like it would be a lot of fun. So it makes me very excited. Because Phasmophobia is fun with friends for me. I prefer it with friends than alone. Mainly because I not only suck at the game, but it's just more fun with friends. So I plan to talk to a few of them about getting together for that. I know I've talked a bit with some friends about a few other things as well that may or may not happen. I am beyond excited for it. I hope the music isn't like too like loud. Like, I'm trying to adjust it to a good point because it's like, I think like right there might be good. I don't know what it sounds like for you guys, but for me it's like a bit louder. And like, I have my headphones turned down a bit because I can't have it at max volume. It hurts my ears. But then again, I know I also, yeah, did swear, and I believe it was Spanish something, ghosts won't mess with you. Honestly, I doubt it, but I could totally see it happening as well. I know there's a lot of new map stuff as well, so it's gotten me like, okay, that could be fun to do on stream with friends. But yeah, I would love to do that. And I really don't know why stream is so delayed recently. Like, because it was fine for a while. Saw it on Steam review. Interesting. That could have been complete chance in all fairness. So, Lord knows. But yeah, I definitely need to, like, figure out more about some of these games and like stream stuff because I know the delay has been weirder recently and I don't know why because it doesn't tell me much. And it could literally just be Twitch servers just having more delay for me, which big rip. Hey FNAF, how are you doing today? Hope you are well. We are just chilling with spooky music and whatnot. I will say, God dang it, damn chicken. So, I don't know if anyone follows my Blue Sky here or not, but for those that do know what I posted yesterday. So, while I work, I like to put stuff in the background. I learned that the drones can be used for exploring and collecting stuff outside of the conservatory. So I set one up in the labyrinth thing. Well, that was the plan at least. And I posted a picture of it on my Blue Sky because it was like, what the hell is this? Because everything was gone. Your bed broke on you yesterday? Oh, that sucks. It always sucks when, like, an important piece of furniture for you breaks. Because it's just like, God dang it, it's gonna be expensive, but I know I need it. Truly the, bane of my existence. I also have thought about baking some stuff more. If it weren't for the fact that I am just not someone who likes being physically on camera and stuff, I'd probably do a baking stream one day. Just because I'm not someone who likes to be on camera in general. Just stuck a new plank down there. That's fair. I mean, when my bed broke, I literally just reinforced it because me and a friend sat at the foot of it and it just snapped under both of us. I mean, the bed's old, though, at this point. How? I really don't know how they're spawning anymore. Like, they fall in, but then there's... That could also just be a random one, for all I know. But, yeah. I personally have been very much annoyed by that type of stuff. I think the one that sucked the most was when it happened to a couch at one point to me, and it was just like, God damn it. Because it was an older couch, so it was inevitable, but it's also like, great, now I don't really have anywhere to sit if I want to, like, not sit in my room or at a dining room table. Because it's like, I try not to stay in my room as much as I used to. Especially now that I actually have more important things to do with my life as well. Ow. But it's just been a lot of, oh, gotta fix this, gotta fix that. I mean, I've gotten better at fixing things at least. That's one of the nice things about dealing with that stuff, is you usually get a lot better at it. Free coach. I wish. Couches can be expensive as hell. I know one thing that's nice, though, is when you get the right one and it's just like the perfect color. And like the perfect make and the perfect feel. It's funny because at one end Athena will curl up, and at the other Dewey will curl up, and Baker will curl up on the love seat. And if you don't know what a love seat is, it's like a two-person couch. It was I think it was my great-grandmother's, if I remember correctly, and I was given it. But it folds out into a bed. So it's literally just a bed. Ish. Bed-ish. It's like a twin size when it folds out, but still nice. Love seats are underrated in my opinion. Though nothing really beats a couch in terms of just space for people, especially when you live with multiple people. Because it's just like, well, where are they gonna sit? And boom, boom. But yeah, love seats usually are for, like, love seats are for two people because the whole point is it's, oh, the perfect size for a couple. Or whatever. It, it, it's weird. Even to me, to this day. It's just like, I mean, okay, very specific. It is because we are terraforming. Terraforming moments. Yay. And it was easier than mining out all the dirt. Because at that point, I think I would have broken most, if not all, of this and been like, I regret my life. Plus, it lets me place stuff easier for the variations because we are trying to make a wasteland biome. Because I want to make a bunch of custom biomes. Because custom biomes are fun. A lot of work goes into making custom biomes, but they're some of my favorite things to build. Just because you can really just go ham on some of it and make some of the coolest, like, biome structures you'd ever see. So the whole point behind the wasteland, like the whole story that I've kind of made up, is it was an over-harvested land that they tried to bring back the life to. It was over-harvested, severely polluted, and when doing so, most attempts failed, and years later, most of the buildings are either gone or abandoned, and pillagers found a abandoned tower and made it into a communications tower with other pillagers. The plan is, so like the plan is to add like some different variants into like the dark oak. So they basically took the stonework of it and built their own tower. But I want to add just like a few like things to it just to texture it better. But what they've been doing is they've been tearing down what few structures are left nearby that have mechanical components and are planning to build a like this giant mechanical thing for unknown reasons to the people around, when in reality it's probably going to be for raids. Yes, because that used to be a pillager outpost. I purposefully chose the pillager stuff because it was a pillager outpost. Because this is where spawn technically is right over there. So yeah, they will spawn. Naturally. But it allows for a lot more stuff of... Damn sheep. Where I am going to really just add a lot to this to give it life. And when I say life, I don't actually mean real life. More just to feel like an actual wasteland. So like dead trees, like, and rotting bits that are just like scars on the land. Because dead trees can last for so long. Especially if it's been fossilized or similar. So there's not going to be a lot. Like, anything that tried to grow has withered or died for the most part. But I plan to have these little areas, like over here in the village. I need to fly up to see this. There it is. So as you can see here, I'm going to put like some moss and like grass and add a few things. I'm up for any sort of ideas. I love hearing people's thoughts. Constructive criticism is very important, after all. I plan to add a bunch of stuff to this, like more texturing and maybe some variants of stone to just break up the monotony in areas. Because once I get this built, then I have to build like a bunch of ruins. But it's a good exercise in world building and story building. Okay. Doot, 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 doot. Okay. Pig, you are in the way. I wish I could, like, press M and look at a map right now, because that would make my life so much easier. But sometimes don't get the luxury of that in a game. I will say, though, this mountain used to all be green, grassy mountain. Now it is very much stony. Oh yeah, nothing beautiful can last. That's kind of part of this. And it's why I want to make, like, these ruins of, like, where the village was. I want to make these ruins of, like, a lab that tried to bring life back that originally failed. But one thing that is eternal is inevitably things are going to take over. And as much as it's been polluted and stuff over the years, it is slowly replenished. So I plan to add like a bunch of like small mushrooms here. Yeah, it's gonna be like a rocky wasteland type thing where most of the dirt, etc., has been destroyed, and like the bits that still exist are very like barren. I plan to make a lot of coarse dirt as well, and rooted dirt, just for like detail. But I like the thought of, while it didn't work at first, the leftover bits eventually got enough to change and grow a small bit of like moss. I just like the thought of that, because that's an inevitability of life itself. Without humans, our buildings would crumble to plants. Oh yeah, I was planning for the Copper Age to build the actual, like, mech, because what I'm gonna do is I am going to build a giant, like, semi-copper mech, is the plan. So I'm really excited for it. Because it's a giant copper mech. Oh yeah, Mother Nature is truly a ruthless being. And that's why I want to add, like, as this goes on, there will be more sharp points to it, like here, for example. I'll add, like, a sharp rock and stuff, like these areas that have a lot more rough terrain and very specific looks of, yeah, this used to be more, but rocks are jutting out. And then I can... Because I also thought about adding, like, a meteorite type thing in certain areas. Because I've thought about it. And I like the idea of this just being this. Because this stone bit here, that's more spiky, I will use for other stuff in the future. It's just gonna take time. Because once all the stone is down, then I can actually fully move on to the next phase of this. And that is blending it with the terrain next to it and fully, like, doing all the texturing of the terrain. Because both of those will go in tandem. Because we start with the base, then we do the texturing, and then the building on top. The only buildings I did on top... Damn, that sheep was really low. But the only buildings that already were done are the pillager outpost, as I wanted to make sure I knew what the main centerpiece idea of this was, and the tree farm just because I needed something there to cover up the tree farm. Of course it's raining. I will say I am so excited to use copper stuff though, because I want to make any form of copper that's used completely oxidized unless it is near the pillagers, where, like, you'll see, and this is something I've thought. Piece of shit. As I was doing. But my plan is to also grab, like, Podzol and stuff and use that to my advantage, because Podzol is a very brown block and looks very dirty, so I plan to use a bit of that as well. For, like, some of the more quote-unquote lush or, like, polluted areas. I also want to add, like, custom lakes that are specifically, like, mostly polluted still, with, like, glass and stuff and, like, fog texture. So it's, like, so murky you can barely see anything. Like, that's the plan with it. It'll take time and a lot of effort, but it will be so worth it in the end. Because it will add a lot of just stuff. And I like the idea of, like, the water thing being near, like, a ruined, like, plant. Where you can see, like, these marks of oil having been there and, like, polluting the water. And after all these years, it just never fully could recover. Plus, covering this up with stone is nice as well. And then, I don't know if you watch the Minecraft Live, but we're getting Nautilus. The zombie horse is finally going to be added to survival. And I'm excited for that because I want to do a lab experiment thing where it's like in the wastelands, like this broken down lab that underneath is like this secret experiment where, like, I want to have, like, a zombie and, like, it hooked up to this tube, and then have the horse types where the skeleton horse is with, like, a bunch of skulls and, like, bones and whatnot. So it's like this thing came to life on accident, and, like, the zombie horse is like a long dead horse. Went to go claim your Minecraft core prize. Oh yeah, I forgot about those. Yeah, I have drops on, so you can actually get that. Yeah, I am a big fan of just all of the cool stuff that they are adding, because it's like, holy crap. But it gives me so many ideas as well, like the spears gives me some really neat ideas. I have thought about looking into modded, and for one specific reason. Vanilla Plus. And this would just be things like Enderman griefing being turned off, and posable armor stands, as well as stuff like making item frames invisible. Like a command that allows me to do that. So that I could be more creative with my building and just do all sorts. But I'm not 100% on that yet. Because if I did do that, I have so many ideas of stuff I could use with just that alone. So it makes me really excited. I honestly wish some of that stuff was base game, because it's like, honestly, we should be able to get posed armor stands without typing in, like, so many commands that it's just, like, no normal person can understand it. Like, even if it's just a few poses, it would make a bigger difference for Java than anything. I just wish they would. Same thing for colored cauldrons and stuff. I'd love the colored water and whatnot. It'd be a godsend. I really don't know where all these animals keep coming from, because they just kind of appeared and just never left. And I've killed a few of them, but it's like they keep respawning. And it's just like, why? Hell, now we also, another thing, there is no such thing as spawn chunks anymore. They're gone. So there's no longer loaded spawn chunks constantly. So that's like a huge change. Also, I'm gonna just, for my sake of hearing, because yeah, I personally, oh my god, get out of the way, sheep. Like, the chickens, I understand where they come from if they're down there, but it's like, after a point, there's so many you're like, really? But yeah, it's gonna take a lot of time to, like, actually finish this, and so it's why we've been working so much on it. Because I do want to get it to a point where we can move on to the next step. Because this is the most tedious of all the steps, in my opinion. Just because of how much there is. And I wish that these animals weren't here and in the way. But no dice. Are you... Damn sheep? Like, the Minecraft animals are not smart. They are very dumb. And they always get in the way. It's the one downside to the peaceful mobs that just always gets me. Because you can't really stop them from spawning at all. They just kind of exist to be a nuisance. Outside of, like, basic food and crap. Because after that point, it's just, we're here to get in your way! And as a builder, it's very annoying. Okay. Also, yes, I don't really care about smooth lighting right now. Like, looking at the size of this alone, we've made such a big, like, just change. Because this was all grass originally. It's kind of crazy. Meaning alls that's left is literally right here. You know what, let's fill this in to, like, cut it off. Because why not? You freaking serious? Of course. But yeah, there's so much stuff that I want to use in Minecraft comparatively, just because it's cool. Like, trying these different blocks has really gotten me to do things I wouldn't have done beforehand in this game. And, like, building these different things. And as the different updates come out, I get more and more ideas of what I could use. So, like, I'm really excited to use stuff like the shelves and the copper stuff because of just the fact that now that we have green light and whatnot with, like, green lanterns and torches with the copper stuff, it gives me so much more I can do with lighting as well. Because the lighting of a build matters as well, in my opinion. And sometimes you can't do too much about it, other times you can do a lot. So we'll just have to see. And it makes me excited to see what builders are going to do in the future with Vibrant's visuals once they're in Java. Because once Vibrant visuals make it to Java, it's over. For, like, building is going to take a whole new life that we have yet to see. Like, redstone and building have really, like, gotten closer too with the buildstone resurgence. And you see stuff like working fans, waterfalls, etc. being used more and more. It makes me really excited to see what other people can come up with as well. Because I know for me, I can come up with some stuff, but even then, seeing how everyone comes up with their own things, I know very well I'm probably not going to come up with much interesting stuff. But I already have a lot of ideas for the shelves. Like the pale oak ones, for example, have a lot of uses in mind for me. I have so many use ideas. Then you have the diorite possibilities if we get stone variants. With diorite and tuff and stone, like if we get stuff like that with shelves in the future, like a quartz shelf, oh, it's over. Because shelves are very specific and very annoying when it comes to, like, the lack of colors, because it's based off the colors of the wood types. But it does allow me for a lot, at least. So it makes me really excited to see what comes out of it. Okay. I know that we're gonna see some crazy redstone stuff too, as certain updates come out with the drops, etc. Like, I'm excited for the spear, for example, because the thought of having an elytra and just spearing down an enemy sounds so fun. And then you have all sorts of other stuff like, oh yeah, let me just do this and just ride a Nautilus, because with the Nautilus thing, it's going to make underwater building so much easier than it, like, because underwater building it was already difficult even with a conduit. So it's like, it's going to be revolutionary for builders if it allows for it. The fact that it can jump out of the water is also kind of funny. But it also gives another use for the puffer fish. Honestly, we're just seeing a lot of things get stuff we never thought we needed or wanted. And it's going to make conduits even easier to get, hopefully, since Nautiluses are probably going to drop their shells. Okay. I am happy the copper update's out, though. I'm also excited to try out the copper golem a bit more. Just because I think it's going to be a fun one. The copper chests, I don't know what I'm going to do with those yet, but I definitely want to try and figure out some build ideas and, like, redstone ideas with them eventually. So we'll just have to see in the future. Sorry about the yawn. Okay. I mean, look at this. We are making a huge dent. Even if we use up all this stone, we're making enough of a dent that it's going to, like, do a lot for us. Okay. Do 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 do. Yeah, it really doesn't feel like it's a Wednesday, but it is. Normally Wednesdays don't feel this, like, tiring, but today does. Oh, sorry about the yawns. Don't know why I keep yawning. Probably lack of sleep, but that's a whole separate issue. Boop 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 doop boop doop boop doop. Boop 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 doop boop doop boop doop boop boop doop boop boop. Oh, fun. You know, I'm surprised we have yet to see a chicken zombie that isn't a zombie, pigman since the lava chicken disc was added. Like, I have yet to see a single zombie riding a chicken. And we need it for our music discs. Like, the music discs we're missing is so specific. Like, we're missing music disc 11, for example. Which is one you wouldn't think we'd be missing, but we are. And I do want to set up a thing for each of the music discs eventually. I know we need to search the Nether for a bastion to get the pig step music disc as well. Just another thing to add to our list. Yeah, at this point, a lot of this is going to be cutting this into slices. So let's start here. Because as we cut this into slices, it will make our jobs a lot easier. Another thing I could technically do is just cover an area in water and then just pour lava on top to get a bunch of stone. But I feel like that would just be a pain in the butt to do. I don't know why I started going that way when the whole point is to keep going forward. And of course, got the sun going down. And I still haven't done, like, the cliffs of this area. I have so many things I could do at this point. The issue is just getting all the resources and whatnot working. I think one of the things I need to do is set up a kelp farm. Make a bunch of dried kelp. I think that's going to be something we need to do eventually. Because at that point, yeah, I'll have to grab more out. Because at that point, it's just a thing of, cool. Another thing to add to my list. Because, yeah, I know I eventually need to do it. It's just, I don't know. Like, I haven't really built a kelp farm in God knows how long. So I'm completely, like, helpless when it comes to that. I might look up some tutorials on it, or I might just try to freestyle it. I don't know yet. Both could work, in all fairness. There we go. So, I remember one of my first builds in this game being a brick house that was just made out of brick. Like, and I just think to myself, you know, I know that world is gone forever because it was on a PC that got destroyed, but it still is an idea of mine of like, dang, I wonder how it would be if I still had it. Being able to show off my progress as time went on from the very beginning. But even then, I don't think it would have transferred well either for save files with what version it was on compared to now. It was pre-end and whatnot. Does make you wonder though, if it did actually, if it actually did have, if it had actually gotten preserved, I wonder what it would look like nowadays compared, like, comparatively. Because I imagine it would have, like, a very different look to now. Like, I've definitely, like, progressed a lot as a builder since then. So it definitely would look a lot better now compared to then. But it's still a fun thought experiment of, I wonder. It might look cool. It might look ugly. It might look interesting. It might just look like a house. Lord knows. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. I mean, okay. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Do 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 do. And then yeah, we'll do this side quickly. Okay. Gosh, Gosh, it is one heck of a yawny day for me, apparently. Then again, I've been up since like midnight, 11 o'clock area. I couldn't sleep past that point. I woke up and was just like, well, fuck. Never could fall back asleep. There we go. Slowly filling this in. Hmm. Hmm. Uh-oh. There we go. There we go. And my dogs are barking at something. How much do you want to bet it's a random thing? It's specifically Athena barking, not Baker. Dewey rarely barks. Baker only barks if it's something actually important. Athena barks like crazy at anything, so... Who wants to make a guess of what she's barking at? My guess is the wind. Honestly, it's very possible, so... Who knows? Boop boop. Boop boop. Boop boop. Boop boop boop. Ah! Okay. Ouch. There we go. Look at that. Making significant progress. More than I have made, just from sitting here, doing my thing. It's the most I've made in a while. Okay. Yawn. There we go. Then we can add just a thicker line to get an idea when we eventually map this area. Because that's the inevitability, is mapping this area. Okay. Okay. What am I gonna do about this? Eesh. I just had a thought. What am I gonna do about this giant hole over here? Do I want to light it up? Do I want to just leave it as is and cover it up? Like, I honestly don't know yet. Okay. There we go. Okay, and then... I guess let's start here. Boop, boop. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You know, with Halloween coming up and stuff, I never really figured out what I wanted to do for, like, a costume or anything. So that's something I probably should do eventually. Then again, I don't know. Okay. Okay, and then I can just do. Then I can just bop. There we go. This is a lot easier now that I actually am, like, getting this down. Wonder how many creepers will explode on us today. I mean, there's gonna be at least one, we know that. That happens, like, all the time. I will say, most of this bridge is now oxidized. There's still parts of it that aren't fully oxidized, but it's mostly oxidized, which is nice. Okay. There's just something about this music that's really relaxing to me. And that's kind of a me thing where I get very relaxed by certain music compared to others. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm playing rock or whatever else. I sometimes will just fall asleep to that type of music and just relax too much. I've had it happen more than once. I am a very weird individual. And I can tell you that with certainty. Two, three, four. Doot, 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 doot. Doot, doot, doot. Doot, doot. Okay. I know PvZ Fusion had its 3.0 update finally. We just don't have the English translation yet. So we gotta wait for that. Of course, because there's no English translation of it, I can't really play it, which is a shame. I would have loved to play it, especially since it's 3.0, and we know there's a lot of stuff that's supposed to come with it. But only so much I can do. You know, that makes me wonder whatever happened to one of the people I watch. He kind of just vanished one day, and I haven't seen anything from him in months, and it's like, I hope he is okay. Because it's just like, he vanished out of nowhere. And I'm just here like, damn. Like, one day, normal, fine, doing his thing. Next, just vanish. You know, that's happened to me with a lot of people in my life, but also, like, a lot of YouTubers and, like, people I've watched with other stuff as well. I wonder why that is. It just seems to be a very common thing to happen. Or at least common enough to, like, be an issue. Ah, yes. You know, being able to just relax, not think, just sometimes is nice. There we go. Anybody else here have any, like, favorites in terms of, like, Halloween stuff, like, be it treats, music, etc.? As much as it may weird some people out, I don't mind candy corn or black licorice. They're okay in my opinion. I don't really care much. Both have their place. Candy corn's really useful for, like, different types of Halloween-themed stuff anyway, so. And it's nothing compared to the taste of fondant. If anyone here has tasted raw fondant and stuff, like, without anything to, like, give it flavor, it tastes awful. Like, fondant just does not taste good. It's just one of those things. Guess we'll finish this one off too. Do 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 do. Okay. You know, I wish Minecraft horror mods would actually become more scary and not just jump scare again. Because I don't mind them, I miss the mods that felt, like, very atmospheric. I feel like there was a lot of atmospheric mods originally. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do do do. Do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do do. Pillager party. Ouch. You know, they're gonna get themselves killed just from thorns. You know, after a point, you've killed so many pillagers, you're just like, really? We're doing this again? The pillagers just annoy me at this point. I couldn't care less about what happens to them. Okay. Don't need that. No stone left in those. Perfect. Okay. You know, my friend tried to get me into the show Young Sheldon, and I just never could get into it. It just wasn't interesting to me. Honestly, it felt more annoying than anything when trying to watch it, because I'm just here like, can someone please slap this kid? Because I'm just gonna say it. I just don't like it. I don't like Sheldon in general. Like, it's not even, like, the main character just doesn't feel like a intriguing character to me. Just something about him just rubs me wrong personally as well. So I'm just like, I don't know. I gave it a try though, and it just wasn't for me. Because it's like, I don't get it. Some of it is just meh. And others are, okay. Like, it's the same feeling I had for shows like The Big Bang Theory. I just never found them interesting. I just found they use a lot of jokes over and over, or like adult jokes, and the joke is just the same thing. And 9 times out of 10, it's a sex joke. And you're just sitting there like, why? I've had my fair share of stuff like that. Did I ever mention at the start of stream that I may have to end early? I don't remember if I did. Did I? Sorry, thinking out loud. But yeah, in case I didn't mention it, yeah, 50-50 I might have to end early just because... Where the fuck did that come from? Sorry, that just caught me off guard. It's just a personal stuff going on. Nothing big, just stuff I need to work on and fix, I guess. Even if I don't want to deal with it. Adulting be that way, though. Okay. There we go. I will say I have lived a little with the Slime Rancher decorating and stuff, because I have just gone out of my way to do some of the decorating because it's fun for me. I love decorating in games. I need to get some of my friends together to play some of those games that I'm thinking of, because it's easier said than done, but it would be really fun to get friends together to play some of, like, the party games I have. I'm a big fan of party games. If I were to do something like Shell Shock, I'd need to be very careful, though. And boom. God dang it. Yeah, we are making a huge difference. But that is okay. Where are we on stone? Okay. We have a lot of stone. We might actually be able to finish the wasteland today in terms of, like, the base layer. And then everything between the grassland and stuff we're going to need to do stuff about. Yay. More work. Yay. More work. Joke aside, I don't mind doing it. It's just a very tedious one that I know is very annoying for some people to watch. And I feel it on a personal level. But meh. I just am doing what I enjoy. I also think I might have an idea of what to do about certain things with not only Slime Rancher, but just like several of the games. Because yeah, I definitely have a few I need to finish / go back to. I know I want to play stuff like Cult of the Lamb, Plants vs. Zombies, a bunch of like games that either are spooky or like have horror related themes in them. So like Binding of Isaac and whatnot. Just cool stuff. And they've made a lot of changes in Binding of Isaac as well. Like now they have a built-in item description thing. So that's fun. Ay. I'm also really close to 100%ing Hollow Knight. I just need to 100% Steel Soul mode and 100% in under 20 hours. And the only thing stopping me from those is literally just getting the last percentages in Steel Soul. And I would definitely get it since I already got Speedrunner 2 on that Steel Soul run. Yet I'm still bad with the map. I think part of it is my brain remembers it. It just is not good at remembering it enough. In terms of the modded Silk Song run, I have been doing a little behind the scenes work on figuring that stuff out, since modding for Silk Song is still relatively new and whatnot. So that's going to kind of go on the list of just gotta fix stuff for that. Same thing for Hollow Knight. I've thought about doing a modded Hollow Knight playthrough. I just would need to figure out how the modding thing works for it, because I was talking to my friend and he mentioned that Hollow Knight specifically has a thing called Scarab, I think it was, for modding, and I'm just like, I'm got no clue. I need to figure it out. But I'll figure it out eventually. Honestly, with all this stone placement, it's just like, damn. Okay. We are gonna just keep traveling. You know, I had some theories come across my brain for, like, not only Minecraft, but other games that, like, some of which I want to talk about, but can't because it would be spoilers for the game. And it's just like, god dang it. Because there's some really odd theories I have. Like, I know Terraria's final quote-unquote update, the 1.4.5, doesn't have a release date yet, but from stuff that they've mentioned, it's probably going to come out late 2025 or early 2026, most likely. If not, like, mid-2026. Unless they get distracted again, but that's a whole separate thing. I will say my eyes are just, like, with looking at all the stone, I just can't help but notice the textures and, like, the differences. Like, it quite literally is the wood texture. It's like a version of the wood texture for logs. But it's also, like, oddly hypnotic in this weird way that just makes me like, huh? and my brain just go bzzz. Lord knows why. So we are almost there, so that's a plus. Just do that. My friend doesn't know what's coming for him in Silksong because he turned in a specific quest, and I'm just sitting here like, oh, if only you knew what you just wrought on the poor city. Because it is specifically the one for the Skull Tyrant. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh, he's gonna be sad. Ironically enough, like, I think the best way he's ever described himself as is like a love child of Moist Critical and, what's his face? Oh my god, the other guy. I can see his face in my brain, but I can't remember his name. And I just think to myself, what? But he has that voice that reminds you of, like, Moist Critical. It's kind of nice. There we go. I was wondering why my rocket wasn't working for a moment there. Ouch. You know, I'm gonna need to get copper golem statues. That's gonna suck. Like, I'm going to basically go till these shulker boxes are empty, I think, and then I'm just going to, like, chill a bit and explore, like, the new update a bit more. I don't know if I will do that or not fully, but that's kind of like the plan. But plans can happily change at times. I'm trying to remember the name of the show, where the whole perspective is from the dad's perspective, who is a mafia boss. Oh my god, it's like I can see the character, because I remember it ending very abruptly in a diner after he saw his daughter, and the whole point was he died to a hitman. Like, at that moment, and the last thing he saw was his daughter while feeling really happy with his family before getting shot in the back of the head. Like, that's kind of what's implied. But my thought is, I'm trying to remember the name of the show because I want to recommend it to someone, but I can't remember the fucking name. Like, and it's been driving me insane because I want to remember the damn name. Because it was a good, like, show, in my opinion, but, like, I did not mind it. I thought it was a pretty nice little show. But, of course, Little Brain does not want to. So Little Brain went, no. Okay. There we go. And then I can just, boom. Okay. Okay, and then I can just... Perfect. Nice. And then I will... Boom. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay. And I can put this here. Okay. Do 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 do. Okay. Wah. Damn. As long as I can get these shulker boxes emptied, I am going to feel complete for what my plan was today, at least. Because that was my main plan, was to empty the shulker boxes. So... Because once we empty them out, I'll have to replace them and whatnot, do all sorts of shit. It's not ominous music at all. Okay. You know, with it being October, we're gonna see a huge influx in werewolf art. And I'm just thinking about that, just thinking to myself, you know, I'm neither annoyed or not annoyed. I just know very well it's gonna be chaos. Like always. Because people want their werewolf art. You see a lot of that around this time of year. Bop bop. There we go, just filling in more. You know, the more we do this, and like, I build out the story in my head, I just kind of am like, do I want to make insert thing weird, or insert thing, like, severely deranged? Like, I don't know. Because I want to add these, like, elements, almost. And with, like, the giant mecha thing, do I want to make it look deranged? Like, almost like it has its own life, almost, in a way. Since pillagers are known to do a lot with magic. Ah! Because with the pillagers, it's one of those things of, in lore-wise, we know they put lapis in their heads from the looks of what it has given us. And we know they have access to magic through the evokers and stuff. So, what's to stop us from using that to our advantage? Like, oh, the robot is like semi-alive or something and is in like this suffering state of derangement. Could be fun. Okay. Perfect. There we go. Ah, yes, monotonous task. I will say the music is so good for this. I love myself a good spooky tune. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Okay. Okay. Wow. We are getting huge chunks of stuff now. So, apparently, from what I've learned from the Slime Rancher stuff, you can glitch the worlds pretty badly. I know on Blue Sky I posted the picture of like the weird glitch I ran into, but I also found that it's not just a stream-only thing, it is just whenever the prism stuff happens, for some reason, my computer does not like it. Which is very confusing. Okay. Dive bomb! Huh. You know, it's also crazy to me the fact that today is the first day where Hermitcraft Season 10 is over now. Like, it's crazy to me to think that they've had 10 seasons and just finished the 10th. Because, like, you know, I remember watching it a lot, and I wonder how long they've been. Oh my good god! Like, that's what it feels like. Because it's like, oh my god, I feel old. Have I ever talked about the story of the kid that called me racist for just chilling and just being myself? Because I don't know if I ever did, because it's a pretty known fact. Like, I've made it known I have anxiety. And I don't know if I ever talked about it, but I always look nervous around people. It's an unintentional thing. I just always look nervous. And I remember the kid basically just turning to their mom and asking if I was a racist because I looked scared of the person in front of me who just happened to be a different skin color than me, and I'm just like, I didn't say anything, but it's when the mother replied, "You shouldn't assume, sweetie." And like, I'm just thinking, good on the mother for saying that, But it's still a wild thing to frickin' hear. Like a kid ask, is that guy racist? Just like, and you overhear it, and it's like, and the only reason I know it was to me was because the kid had been staring at me, which made me more uncomfortable and nervous. And it's like, I don't even, to this day, understand. Like, kids have one hell of a lack of filter. Same with the the older you get, there's this certain age you gain a filter, and then this certain age you'll lose it. And it's like, there's just something else about it. I will say it was very funny that I got to make a joke about it to my sister, about how funny it is that her and her fiance are in a lesbian relationship, and one of them is allergic to nuts, the other is low on vitamin D, and there's just an irony to it. And I'm just thinking to myself, you know, I'm either gonna get punched or she's gonna laugh her ass off. She laughed her ass off, so. My sister is very quick to just, like, have some of the most random reactions I have found. So it's just like, oh, what reaction will I run into today? I also will say, there's nothing that beats a homemade cake of red velvet made by your own mother, who is really good at making red velvet cake and baking. Because every year we do our thing, she always makes a homemade cake. It's not even something we care if she does. It's just something she likes to do. And red velvet is my sister and I's favorite cake type. So it's like, cool. Then you have my dad, who's like going out of town for band stuff, and I'm just here like, geez, can't stay in one place for a week, can ya? So I'm helping around with them while he does that. So yeah, that's part of what my personal stuff I'm dealing with is. Oh no, family. Honestly, I don't mind. It just means I get to spend more time with my mom. Move, chicken. So, with Halloween coming up, I'm curious how many trick-or-treaters people have been seeing, because for me, I've seen like a significant decrease in like trick-or-treaters, but I've found that like I've seen some older kids who will take like their younger sibling or younger cousin, and we let them trick-or-treat. Like, I always stay with my parents for Halloween. Like, we get together, have a little bonfire and stuff, like before COVID, and now still, and we do the trick-or-treaters. COVID really hit trick-or-treating hard in our, like, just general, and we see so many less kids because of it, and it's like, it's a shame. But by doing the trick-or-treating stuff, and we allow people who are technically above the legal age of doing it, like, if you're trick-or-treating, like, even if, like, it's a parent who's come with, or, like, if you want something, you can grab something, because it's, like, especially with teenagers, in the words of my mom, and something I truly believe is, if they're trick-or-treating, it means there's less focus on causing more problems on Halloween, because it means they're doing something fun, and you're less likely to get egged or hurt from stuff, and just people in general, because it's like, they actually are doing something more productive and less, like, negative overall. Gives them something interesting to do. Something that brings a bit of that childlike wonder. Something fun. And it keeps them distracted from doing just all the quote-unquote normal Halloween stuff. Also, you ever think about how the whole razor blades and candy thing comes up every year, and it's like a good chance it's probably like it was probably started by parents to explain, oh yeah, we need to check your candy, when in reality it's just them taking some candy for themselves. Because I don't think I know many cases of anything similar to that happening. But, like, I understand, like, when a candy wrapper is, like, partially open, my parents just being like, nope, don't trust it. Like, they used to do that. And they still do. But it's gonna be nice because my old babysitter, she had a kid more recently, like a year or two ago now, and she is visiting home. And since my parents live near her parents, I actually get to see how she's doing, how her and her husband are doing and stuff. It's been so long. I mean, because I had her as my babysitter for the summer quite a few times, especially with my sister, and she was great. She basically did it as a way to get some extra, like, cash and stuff since school was out and whatnot. And we stayed pretty close overall. Like, she's a really fun individual still. Very chaotic personality, which is fun. But yeah, it's going to be nice to see her again since she'll be here on Halloween. And I'm like, finally. Because I haven't seen her in years. Like, I've texted her here and there, and we've, like, just seen how each other are doing. But we haven't been able to, like, physically chat in so long. It's honestly really fun. Makes me really excited, too. Little fun fact. So when it comes to Halloween, my dogs are okay with it. Athena barks at everyone. Baker just depends. He usually can stay outside with us fine. Same with Dewey, but a lot of people are scared of Dewey just because big doggo. When in reality, he's young, lovable, but gets scared easily. And there's that small part of me that's like, do I see if they want me to bring the doggos? Because if yes, just saying, I'm sure they would enjoy it. Athena would probably not come just because she's annoying when it comes to that stuff. Plus, there's something nice about just getting together with a bunch of friends on Halloween and just chilling. Just one of those things. Like, I know, some of my D&D group members are going to be doing their own thing as well, because they like to do stuff for the trick-or-treaters. Like, we all have our own little things we do. And I don't remember. I think one of them is working on Halloween, though. Which is gonna suck because... And this is something that I felt so bad for her. Because she had to work New Year's night as a dispatcher for 911. And I'm just like, oh, you poor child. Because, as anyone knows about New Year, and about the amount of ambulance and stuff that gets sent out on New Year's Eve and, like, New Year's overall, it's hell. Same with Christmas. And, like, Christmas Eve. Certain holidays are much worse. Halloween is, like, bad for a bit. It's usually from, like, idiots or, like, people just getting hurt for, like, someone got hit or something. It's happened before. Like, or something with, like, a haunted hayride or someone getting too scared. Like, that stuff happens, but it's nowhere near, like, New Year's or Christmas. Thanksgiving is surprisingly not as bad as you'd think. It still can be bad, but it depends. Usually Christmas and New Year's are the worst of the year, though, other than 4th of July, actually. 4th of July is a whole other thing. Let me guess, someone blew off their hand with a firework, didn't they? Yep. 9 times out of 10, that's how it goes. Joke aside, it doesn't happen that often, in all reality. At least not here. Or where they live. Like, it is not as common. Enough people understand or are smart enough to understand. Or just are lucky enough to not blow off part of their frickin' arm. But there's always the few. My biggest question is if the crazy, so there is a, and this guy is, like, there's this, guy. We'll call him Todd. It's not his real name, but we'll call him Todd. And he lives close to my parents. He's lived there for a few years. He has children. I think he has, like, 4 to 5 children and a wife. And historically, he's known to be a complainer over small things. Or it didn't go off. They thought it was done, put their head over. Oh my god, that is the dumbest thing you could do. Oh god, just the thought of that makes my skin crawl, because it's like, no! But this Todd guy has had the police called on him many times. He complains about a lot of stuff, like, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. Very big drug head. Surprised he isn't put in jail as often as you would think. But I still remember the Halloween. He was chasing children with a chainsaw, with the blades still on, including his own children. And just like, how did he not get arrested and, like, jailed for multiple years because of that? Like, he must have an insane lawyer or, like, insane connections, because holy shit. Like, and that's just one of the many incidences. And he has this habit of playing music really loud. And from what my parents have said, the neighbors that first moved in, since he has stopped recently, they don't do it anymore. But when he was still doing it, as soon as it turned to the point where they could, they would play their music, which was like classical, rock, etc. So you would hear one moment Beethoven, the next you would hear like Queen or like Metallica, like early in the morning after noise ordinances couldn't be issued, just to piss him off. And I'm just like, oh, I love malicious compliance. And just, ah, yes, so beautiful. Because the police weren't going to do anything. He gets away with enough shit. So it's like, might as well take it in our own hands. But it's so fun to hear about that type of stuff for me. Because I am here just like, oh, satisfying. I do love a good satisfying end. But yeah, like, I know last year for Halloween, someone set off a firework. I know they got caught and arrested. like, they set off a firework and injured a kid. And it's just like, you did it to yourself, dumbass! Like, I will never understand the stupidity of some of these people. Because it's like, what did you think was going to happen when doing a dumb thing? Like, and I don't know how true it is, but from what I heard when the firework went off, it was, like, the stories conflicted depending who in the neighborhood you asked. Some say it was a random kid, some say it was the person's friend. It's just confusing, but what I know for sure happened is a kid got injured after getting hit with a firework that was shot off by another person. And they were both, like, young, like, technically young. I mean, they were both minors, so, like, that's the most I know. But it's still, like, really? Like, bro, get your kids on a frickin' leash. You know, I'm actually glad that I had parents that understood, like, a lot of stuff about, like, wind deletion and also how to make sure we were independent if we wanted to be. Like, because from a young age, I was taught, like, about money and, like, that stuff. My grandpa helped quite a lot with that. Taught me to gamble at a young age. I learned rummy by the time and like poker by the time I was like 7, 8. So I've known how to gamble for a long time. I'm not always good at poker faces. Or am I? Like, I'm good at doing the fake poker faces because I've spent so many years like learning to mask certain things and just then knowing how to play poker and learning to mask feeling of certain things on top of that really helps with the poker face side, because I can look so bland and tired and like bored out of my mind when in reality I am just excitedly watching something happen and unfold. But even then, it's very limited. Because I can't do it for long, or else it just gets very exhausting. But it's very useful for poker. Not that I use it for anything else. I mean, it's the only real reason I would use it. Now I'm just, like, I'm a very expressive person. I certainly will hydrate. I spilled some water on myself. Frick. Ah. I don't know how many seconds behind that is, but yeah. I know, in general, I am like, holy crap, with some of it. Because, like, I've gotten good at certain card games sheerly because of that. Like, I'm way better at some card games that I probably shouldn't be. And I've been good at them since I was very, like, young because of that. One thing I have been trying to get my mom to play with me is Chinese checkers and mahjong, because those are some really fun games if you know how to play. Chinese checkers is very complicated, but I understand it to an extent. Mahjong is really fun though. Highly recommend it if you've never played. It's when I got a message from my mom saying, "Oh my god, I found your marbles!" And it's just a picture of a bag of marbles with my name on it. Like, I used to have marbles and stuff, and I I had lost that so many years ago, and it's like, holy crap, I've been looking for those for years. Maybe now I won't be as insane. Like, the fact that I can make those types of jokes with my parents should say a lot. I mean, we've had some very weird jokes. And just, like, with my parents, historically, we've had some very weird, like, dinner conversations and jokes shared. Like, I remember there was a whole conversation at dinner one night about the Kool-Aid Man and, like, if his liquid is blood or, like, a wig type effect. Like, or if it's, or in what one of the things my sister said, what if it's a sperm? And that just made me go, okay then. It was a very weird dinner. This is the type of shit. I think that is the best way to react to, wait, what? Like, this is the shit that happens with my family is very weird. Like, we have had some very weird conversations at dinner or just in general. Like, it is very odd, but very funny. Because we all understand each other's weirdness enough that it's, like, normal for us. So, we don't get as surprised usually by that unless it's really out of pocket. Because we're just so used to it at this point. But it's really funny when, like, someone's visiting, like, and I'll spend time with my parents and just be like, oh, how's everyone doing, etc. Like, and we just start doing our weirdness, like, and it would happen a lot for years until, like, I eventually moved out and whatnot. Like, a lot of that stuff just would happen so often, and it's so funny when people would come over to visit and be so confused by the weird stuff we'd talk about. Like, oh my lord. And then my mom and I, and then my Grammy and I had these experiences. And my sister is part of this too. So my mom's sister, Grammy, and I. It just has to be a combination of at least two of us. Before my Grammy passed, it just had to be, like, some situation. But now it's just a combination between my mom, sister, and I. And the weirdest shit happens. From a vulture dropping a dead cat on, frickin' my mom's, at the time, van, to the Oscar Mayer wiener being followed by a car that had a dog ears and a dog nose on it, to literally watching an eagle dive bomb a car in front of us, to all sorts of weird shit always seems to happen. Like getting lost in a country road somehow because someone took a wrong turn, and then someone is laughing so hard they piss themselves. There's been a joke made between my sister's friend and I of, you know, you still owe me for pissing in my car because of that. Because she just couldn't stop laughing. Like, there's a joke that I have the ability to do it in her car without any words, but I'm not going to. I don't care. It was a very odd experience. And the reason I got lost is because I had never driven out there at the time, and we wanted to pick up some desserts from a place that we had never really been to before. And I got lost because of the darkness and the fact that several street lights were broken, which only made it more difficult. And because it wasn't a country road at first, I couldn't use brights, which was very annoying when there's not a lot of cars and the street lights are out. And lo and behold, here we are now, just lost and confused, and stuff got to a point where we were making jokes and like, oh my god, I'm still lost. And this is the time mobile phones existed, and we just get a call of like, are you okay? Like, and it was this whole thing of, no, we got lost, etc., etc., and it was absolute chaos. Like, my family is a great example of just what happens if there's too many chaotic people in a family. Because, dear God, like, we create a whole new level of what every time, just because we're that type of weird. But I love them all. They're great in their own ways. And then there's my grandma. And you would think, okay, grandmother, someone who doesn't like cussing, sees cussing as stuff like even shut up as a cuss to her. So surely she must be like kind, not too crazy. No. I mean, she literally said, I'll beat your ass if you don't give me that railroad in Monopoly at one time, or if you get another tattoo, I will beat your ass. And because the railroad one was specifically, if you don't give me it, I will bite you. To, oh, what's wrong? What's the worst that happens? Someone loses a penis? Oh no. She pulls the most out-of-pocket shit out of nowhere. And it is, mind you, this is the woman who complains about, shut up, being a cuss word. The only word she hasn't really used is fuck. And it's like, she is a great example of, I don't even know what to say other than, oh. She's a very interesting individual. I love her. She's great. But gosh, if it isn't weird sometimes. She's a very odd individual, but so is most of my family in a nutshell. I feel like a lot of people I like spend time with are odd in some form. But then again, who isn't odd in some form nowadays? Being weird's fun. But yeah, ay. We are getting, like, most of the mountain being done is so satisfying. So I'm really happy about it. Because once this is done, we won't need to worry about much except basic texturing and stuff after. You know, I can only imagine the sheer amount of stone that went into this, because it's at least, like, several double chests worth of shulker boxes at this point. Like, it's at least a double chest of shulker boxes at this point. So it's like, Jesus. Does make you wonder, though. Because I imagine there's some pretty big points. I also have some really good ideas for builds in the future. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Let's just fly on out to get rid of the nighttime, because otherwise it's going to be a pain in the butt. Big stretch. Ironically, I keep running out of fuel. It's why I want to make a kelp farm. I will say, this place is really coming along. Makes me really happy. Because it means a lot of this is finally getting done that is needed to be done. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I am just boggled at how much we have gotten done in just a few months. Because, like, if this was creative or something, I probably could do this in, like, a few, like, hours and whatnot. But mainly because, like, there's all sorts of stuff. If there was, like, world edit stuff, I could probably do it within, like, a few minutes. If not less. So it's been definitely really fun getting this done. Because it means we get to close off these huge gaps and just relax. And, like, then we have, like, areas like over here that are just long lines that I can cover. Does make you wonder, though. Do you think there is enough stone here to cover the earth at least a few times? Since each is like a meter long, I imagine the answer is yes, since it's like a meter cubed specifically. Because each block is a meter, so this would be so many meters. It's insane. And with the amount of stone and stuff I've placed, I mean, it's at least in the hundreds of thousands. And that's at least. That's not counting the stone that I didn't mine, but dug down too. Honestly, the fact that we're going to be having all these custom biomes and stuff is going to be so fun. Like, having a rocky wasteland is going to be awesome. Do-do-do. Then we can just do a bit of this. Okay, we still have 3 stacks in our inventory and a shulker box, so we still got quite a bit of ways to go. But it's good to know. Yeah, and we'll fill this part in quickly, since it's going to be an easy fill. Heh. When your dog's barking at everything that she sees. And I know it's not important because only Athena's barking. If Baker's barking, it might be important. If Dewey's barking, that's how you know, okay, something's wrong. Because Dewey just only barks if he sees it as a threat. Or is, like, scared of it. My god, it's the pillow monster! There's a whole thing and story behind it. So, when Dewey was a puppy, my mom accidentally dropped a pillow near him, and now he is scared of pillows. Like, he has this internal fear where it's like he doesn't mind them to an extent now, but if you like pick one up near him or like it drops near him, he gets so terrified. And while it's cute, it's also really sad. Because it's like, dude, it's not gonna hurt you. Because it was a complete accidental thing, too. So it's like, you have this big dog who's terrified of pillows. And it's like, ay. He'd never be able to handle a pillow fight. Or a pillow fort. Much less something much more devious. Pillows the size of a body. Body pillows would probably kill him outright. He'd just get too terrified and have a heart attack. Which is a thing that can happen. To both humans and dogs. Which is odd. But interesting. The fact that we can die of things like heartbreak, fear, etc. is such an intriguing, like, concept. And just, like, effect that our bodies have. Because you have stuff like, in general, that's like, damn. You can have an actual case of someone who died of heartbreak. And it's usually lovers or, like, close family members. Like, for example, like, Carrie Fisher's mother, I believe it was, who died of heartbreak after Carrie Fisher died. Or something like that. Or it was the other way around, I don't remember. But it's like, it's just so intriguing to me that something so simple in terms of our emotions is so complex when you look at it, because it can affect how we live or die, how we exist in the moment. But the fact that we can get to that point of emotion is just fascinating. Because, I mean, think how many people in history died like that without us knowing, where it was signed off as, like, a spirit, or they died to a curse, or just randomly died and no one knows why. Like, stuff like that could have easily been solved by just knowing that, for all we know. It's just a really cool thought. Okay. It is funny when I've seen people like, oh yeah, if I could go back in time specifically, I'd want to be able to talk to this person who's like thousands of years old, and I'm just thinking to myself, here's the real question. Can we understand them? Are things translated for us? Do we auto-hear them in our language and them back? Because even if they spoke quote-unquote English has changed so much over the years. Then you have stuff like Yiddish, Slavic, Greek, and many, many, many other languages, some of which are near dead or dead. Think like Gaelic and Latin, which are like dying languages in a form. And it's like, it does make you wonder. Like, Imagine if you could learn every language, including the dead ones. Think how much history you could learn. Especially from, like, ancient Egypt, and then ancient Egypt, and then ancient Egypt. Egypt has a lot of ancient Egypt in it. It just shows how long it's been around. I mean, there's a reason it's considered one of the cornerstones of life. For, like, just our species just existing. I just find it really neat. It actually reminds me, I saw this really cool Fakemon design. So, it was it was Mega Reggie's, and me being a nerd was like, okay, what is it about? And then learning about the fact that they specifically made each one, since they're based off different ages, Electric Age, the Medieval Age, Stone Age, etc., etc., they decided to make it part of the cornerstones of the world, and I'm like, where humans were believed to start, and I'm like, oh my god, that's genius. Because I've always found the cornerstones to be like an odd thing already. Because it's the places we know is likely where humans started in some form in each area. And it really opens up a lot of, I wonder what difference there is. Like, compared to what we have now, like, what feature differences have changed? Like, how much have our legs changed from when we first did it? Like, our backs, like, how much of our bone structure and, like, muscular structure has changed? Because we only have bones to an extent. But, like, even then, think how many bodies didn't fossilize or get preserved. Like, it's just a thought that makes me go, Another thing that's also really funny to me is, when people think of Dracula, they instantly think, oh, medieval age vampire, super old, like, ancient level vampire. But the book was written way back, and by the time the book was written, things like Coca-Cola and blue jeans existed. So, like, denim. So, realistically, Dracula would have existed and been able to wear denim jeans and drink Coca-Cola, as well as have, like, electrical communication in some forms. Even if it's not, like, good, it would allow, it's still, like, they would have a lot more communication than we thought. Because communication still wasn't good then, but, like, there were early forms, technically. It depends what you, like, back then they would probably have considered it electrical, or, well, they wouldn't call it electrical, it would be something else. But now what we consider electronic communication is so different to what older generations would have. Like, for some generations, you'd have people like, oh, look at all this electronic communication, and it's just like the telegraph. But then now electronic communication is like text, email, talking over the phone, like, just in general. And it's like, it's crazy how much that has changed. But it's also really intriguing. Or, like, the fact that eventually the 2000s is going to be called, like, the 2000s, the 2010s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, instead of 1940, 1930s and stuff. Like, that stuff is going to change because of how recent that type of, like, terminology is for referring to them. So it's kind of intriguing to me on how that's going to change as well. Or, like, the history of what led to computer bugs being called computer bugs is really funny. Because if I remember correctly, it was a computer that started, like, having issues because a bug had gotten in, and I believe died in the computer. Which, of course, computer bug. Quite literally. Which then led to when things go wrong, it's a bug. Just weird stuff like that. I'm quite sure that's the story, but I'd have to double check it. I'm no master of a craft, and I want to constantly learn more. I feel like if you don't make mistakes and don't just get some things wrong at times, like unintentionally, you'll never truly learn or grow. The day I die is the day I stop learning, because there is just so much potential and just beauty to learning and just all the stuff you can learn. It makes me so excited to, like, see what we could learn in the future. Like, one of the things that comes to mind, I saw a news article about this. So I was really intrigued. I looked into it a little bit, but didn't have time to look into it much. But there was a Chinese study done, with stem cells, if I remember correctly. And it was for type 1 diabetic, because when you're type 1, you don't produce any insulin. So they used stem cells so she could produce it. And, like, over a year later now, she's still producing it, meaning they possibly found a cure for type 1 diabetes. Or at least the starts to one, which is insane to me. Same thing with, like, cancer and, like, AIDS and stuff. Like, they've been finding ways to target the specific cells and use certain things to possibly even, like, destroy it without needing to go through rigorous treatment. It's just crazy to me. Or, like, bone glue existing. Like, which is, instead of having to do the normal stuff for, like, healing a broken bone, you just glue it together. Like, there's so many odd things that exist because we found ways to create them. Like salt, for example. If you separate chlorine and sodium, which makes table salt, one of them goes kaboom in water, and the other, when in contact with the air in our lungs and stuff, because of, like, the moisture, etc., creates a deadly acid. And it's like, it's crazy to me that these two extremely dangerous, like, things create a super edible thing that is used for common seasoning. Same thing with, like, capsaicin. It's supposed to be this repellent for mammals because lizards and birds don't taste it and stuff because they're usually the ones that plants want to spread the seeds. Mammals, on the other hand, can. And it's just like, despite that, humans are just like, I like the burning sensation it gives me. And it's like, there's an extent where humans as a whole just are like, yep, I'm gonna do something crazy now. And it's like the most batshit insane thing. And we find it tasty or intriguing, or we, like, make it work somehow in the most bullshit ways comparatively to nature. It really makes you wonder. Because at what point is it a thing of, damn, that didn't go well, to, oh, that person is just insane yet somehow genius. I mean, literally the way we know how dreams work is from a guy who loved to get high off the most crazy shit. And he had a revelation while high. I mean, that's like a basic of it. Like, it's a lot more complex than that, but still. It's a funny thought of just like, oh yeah, this guy right here, yeah, he got really high and was like, I have an idea. And freaking invented how we still use dreams because it's the best explanation. If anything, humans are just one of those things that, despite everything, they always surprise me with all sorts of things, be it stupidity, absolute insanity of just the sheer capabilities that we've seen, to even like basic stuff of just, oh yeah, this person right here, they did something even crazier than you'd think. Oh, how could it be that they like did this insane trick or whatever, or they create like this new element that shouldn't exist in our universe because it's so unstable. It's just insane to me. Like, the fact that we can make unstable elements because they are just so difficult to make already, that we basically bend reality to our will in a way to just make it possible, even if for a few seconds, because of how unstable it is. I think that's just so intriguing. Or the fact that the periodic table was made so people didn't have to memorize it, yet teachers still make us memorize it. From what I've heard, they still to this day make us memorize the periodic table. The whole point was so we didn't have to memorize it. But yeah, I just think it's really cool. Like, there's just so much genius in stuff that we have lost to time, or like even things that we haven't, like architecture and like archaeology and all these different like ways of expressing stuff through something else, exploring history and like building and how they did things with their environments. You start to see this bigger picture of some of these societies were way more advanced than we realized, with like ancient Rome's what looks to be possible brain surgery and like bottom surgery stuff is crazy, but intriguing at the same time. I mean, there's been records of all sorts of stuff, like, to explain all sorts of feelings for how people felt, be them LGBT, as we call it now, or be it just crazy, or as they might have called it back then, like, or to be autistic, etc. Like, it's intriguing to me. Of course, it doesn't mean it was always good, but it's cool to learn about, because, like, one of my favorite ones is just, oh yeah, Apollo fucked up when making you, so your gender got fucked up too. Sorry about that. Like, the fact that that's, like, one of the reasons is hilarious. Yeah, Apollo was too fucking drunk. Sorry. Like, just the thought of Apollo being so drunk, he's just like, oh, fuck, I fucked up the person. Well, they'll be fine, right? What's the worst that, oh dear God. Like, it's just weird. But I just love learning about it. I mean, you look at history, and for the longest time, like, there were some really fucked up ways people would deal with stuff like, for example, autism or, like, mental health. If it was a kid, it was seen as them being replaced by a changeling for a period, and they would do stuff like burn their children or, like, do some pretty fucked up shit that included boiling water and leaving them in the forest alone. And it's just kind of like, whoa, number one, and two, what the hell? And it's just crazy to me. But humans have also always been the kind to just, like, do some of the weirdest shit as well. Like, I mean, there's literally a random carving of runes in a cave that scientists were like, we need to figure out what this says. And literally all it said was, "This is very high." And it was just so baffling that they found that I find it hilarious, because it means a lot of jokes haven't changed for humans either. They've just evolved to different formats. And I think that is beautiful. You know, as much as stuff can seem weird, or hope may seem all sorts of ways, one of the ways we as people evolved to where we are now is through social and, like, all sorts of other things. Like, we survived because we were a more social species. We require forms of socialization, and because of that, with how tech has kind of affected it, it's made a loneliness epidemic more of an issue at times, because of the lack of connection that kind of happens for some people. But even then, it's one of those things of, there's so much that goes into just tone and, like, how people act versus type in terms of chat, because, or, like, in terms of a text or whatever. Like, you can't really pick up the tone if someone's joking or not. Not easily, at least. Not without, like, tonal marks. But I can guarantee if people could pick out tone, a lot of people would not be the way they are on the internet. If tone was, like, easier to pick out on the internet. And, like, stuff like that. Because in reality, doesn't really matter what tone you use. Some people like being anonymous to screw others over. I mean, look at the scam caller stuff. I mean, that's a whole separate issue. But it's like, there's also so much good that comes from tech as well, and humanity as a whole. Like, if it weren't for humanity, species like pandas would be extinct. And stuff like zoos, for example, are one of the biggest forces of conservation in general. Just because even in captivity, it can keep a lot of species alive that might not stay alive. Like, there's this one fish, I don't remember the name of it, but scientists were baffled because they could never replicate the environment of it yet they only existed in like this one pool in the world. And my thought is, I wonder if they ever did figure it out or not, because they were a very like rare type of fish that barely exists anymore, and are like super recessive in terms of their genomes and whatnot. Like it's like a weird, just, I don't even know what to call it, like anomaly, I think is a good word to put it. It's like a weird anomaly of a creature. Similar to the platypus. The platypus is one hell of an anomaly of a creature. I mean, it literally is not only venomous, but glows under black light, is a mammal that lays eggs, is duck-billed, beaver-tailed, frickin' crazy-ass stuff. Like, animals are so weird and so cool at the same time. I mean, like, a lot of people think that dodos died of like stupidity or because people killed them off, when in reality a lot of it was just their homeland being disturbed so much, for example. Then you have like other species that have just died naturally, but some have like revived, and it's like, what? It's actually kind of cool. Like, the fact that we can preserve things in ice, including, like, semi-living beings, is crazy to me. Like, it can save your arm from decaying enough that it can't be replaced. That it can't, like, be put on your body again, to even something as simple as, oh yeah, this mammoth we found, we can extract its blood and like DNA to replicate its meat. Like, or the fact that we have made grapes made of meat before by changing the cells of the grape so that they're meat. Which is such a weird thing to do, but also adds this whole thing of, we could possibly make like full like meals of just crops like that and no real meat, and it would still taste like and be meat, which is insane. Honestly, science is just such a cool thing. You can't really argue with how interesting it is. I mean, if you had the ability to be a scientific genius, that'd be awesome. I will say there is one theory of, like, our universe that I find really funnily weird, and that's the theory that our universe is, like, inside of a black hole in another universe. And that, like, the black holes are just, like, these weird, almost wormhole-like states that, like, everything they suck in doesn't disappear, but just gets put into a different, like, universe or something. Which is such a weird, like, thing, but also intriguing. Because it's just like, well, now I want to know why they think that. Because I know it's only a theory, but it's still a interesting theory. Of course, there's not a lot to say it's true or not, but it's still a fun thing to think about. I just find that stuff really fun to listen and learn about. You know, there's nothing like listening to the crickets at night and whatnot, and just the wonderful sound of their chirping as you're just laying in bed, just relaxed. Nothing else, just the crickets. And then they stop and you just hear like the pitter-patter of the rain on the tin roof. It's calming. there's a beauty to it in a way. So, definitely makes me go, Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is like this, and then just... You know what? Let's do this. You know, there is one thing I am excited for. So, you know what comes out this October? If I remember correctly, the new Little Nightmares is supposed to, but I know the next Repo monster update is as well. So that's exciting. But also, the mega stuff for Horizons and Legends ZA, but still. I'm excited for the Horizons arc thing because we get to see like how two of the characters met and whatnot during the time skip. So that's going to be really fun. Because I think they're really interesting characters. So I'm excited for that. And from the teasers for the thing after it, it seems we are going to get some crazy ass fights coming. Do 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 do. There we go. There we go. So, anyone do anything interesting over their weekend and stuff? Or just in the last few days? Because for me, it has been a lot of just mostly boring stuff, in all fairness. But there's a few things that I've talked about and haven't. Ooh, a random flower I did not break. Bonk. Once this hill is complete, it's gonna be so nice, because we won't have to climb up it constantly. Not for a long time. The amount of, like, hidden caves and stuff I have found is insane. And it's not even purposeful. Okay. There we go. Like, I don't care how many mobs spawn here, because it's like, it's not near my base, and they won't steal everything from this, so I'm a little less worried. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop. Boo-doo, boo-doo, boo. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. God, I am not warmed up enough to sing much, but frick. If I actually was more warmed up to sing, I would be able to sing so much better. And even then, I know I don't sing the best. Choir may have made me sing better, but it does not mean I am the best. Because most guys do not do choir. Most normal guys, I guess. But for me, I did. I like choir. It was fun. Jama was a great teacher. I wonder how she's doing. It's been so long. We actually just would call her JMO as a nickname. Don't know when it started or how it started, but it was many years before I joined the class. And it's like, I wonder how she's doing now. I imagine she's probably planning on retiring, if not already retired, in all fairness. I mean, God, how many years has it been? Boop, 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 boop. Boo-doo-doo. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. 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 We're gonna need to map this place out. Because, like, damn. We are at that type of point now where I'm like, dang, we need to map out this place more. Because, like, we have so much stuff now that, like, maps are gonna be crazy for this. As you can see, it is damn chicken. Dang, that's all that's left. I'm gonna do something real quick. Bow, 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 bow. Do, 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 do. Since I already need to sleep and stuff, it's easiest to go here. I probably have so much iron at this point that I just don't need. Yeah, with what we have left, we're golden. Because we can just easily, like, go down this. Boop, boop, boop. Doot 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 doot. You know, if I could, I would totally play stuff like the Monster Mash and whatnot if I could. But I can't get away with that. At least not to my knowledge. It's too risky. Because DMCA, and I'm just like, damn it. You know how fun it would be to play stuff like It's Raining Men and other Halloween-based songs that are used in a lot of Halloween playlists? I mean, gosh. I put a spell on you, and now you're gone. I put a spell on you, and it was strong. God, like, God, I am starting to get some, like, memories from them. Or, like, one of my, like, another good one, Toxic, is used a lot. Of course, you got, like, Ozzy Osbourne in there, and all sorts of others that you hear in a lot of, Monster Mash is probably one of the more famous ones, other than, like, the Ghostbuster theme, the Scooby-Doo theme, like, any of those types of shows and movies are pretty popular, like, the Conjuring and Poltergeist themes, and Exorcist theme. Any of the horror movie themes, like Friday the 13th, the do 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 is very popular. So it's like, yeah, those are gonna be easy to remember. But then there's like some really good ones that aren't as well known or aren't seen as much. Like, if you've ever seen Hocus Pocus, Come Little Children's one, that just is very memorable for me. Come little children, I'll take thee away into my garden of shadows. Like, such a great one. I love a lot of the music that comes from those types of things. But then you have specific ones that are just, like, specifically made just for whatever. From spooky, scary skeletons to the spooky pumpkin in the pumpkin patch is like a kid's song I remember. Like, there's all sorts, depending on if it's kid-friendly or not, too. Sorry. But yeah, I love it. And we're able to get some great music out of this stuff. Do 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 do. I love being able to just build with music and stuff in the background for this game. But yeah, I do want to explore the Copper Age more too. We just haven't gotten to it yet because I'm trying to get rid of all this stone. And we're so close to finishing this that it's like, oh my gosh. Then we'll mess with the Copper Age a bit and whatnot. Yeah, this part is just going to be the last annoying part. Also, if you didn't know, Dye's got a new look as well in this update. They look so nice. They're way more, like, varied in look, so it's easier for, like, colorblind people and stuff. Been doing a lot of stuff like that recently. And yeah, I'm going to mark out, like, areas on these mounds where I want to put certain things with wool. But that's gonna be after I get like the idea of stuff down more. Because, yeah, I'm thinking, okay, so I would need to meld this into the, what's it called? Terrain. My god, brain forgot what terrain was there. So that we can hopefully seamlessly blend biomes together as well. Because, yeah, I'm going to need to go in the water for certain bits, too. But that's more of a personal thing, just so it's, like, nicer looking. I might, like, do it in a few areas as well. There we go. Honestly, as soon as it hits November is when I'll switch to, like, Christmas skin and stuff. Because that's the plan. I do want to set up a few different variants for other holidays. I just haven't done it yet. I also have figured out what I plan to do about the Silk Song All Charms run. There is a mod I can use, but I'll just have to make sure I remember how it's used so I can attach all the charms at once. It'll be weird, but we'll figure it out. The real question is going to be whether or not we want to make it so I can take off a charm for, like, a certain thing. I think that kind of goes against the point of the challenge, though. Unless it's related to, like, me showing something specific. Like, the interaction with the Plasmium file, for example. You can't do it with one of the charms on that you get way before the file and the stuff you need to use it effectively. And since the whole plan is to go for the charms and whatnot as soon as they're available, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. But it will be fun to switch crests every single stream, or when... And this is something I plan to do, is where people can switch my crest, either... Like, I could do it for channel points, or I could do it for, like, subs or bits, but I think channel points makes the best sense. Because I don't want people to feel like they need to donate to do shit like that. And, yeah. I might literally just make it an option of you could either spend a bunch of points or you could just donate to do it. Like, be it gifted sub or sub type thing. But then it at least would give some option, I guess. Still not 100% though on that part of the idea. But then it would also give a chance to people who want to do it and are willing to do it, who don't have the points. And it will be based off which crests I have. And the whole point is we're going to try and unlock each crest as we can. So, like, as soon as we get to the point where we can finish Act 1, we're gonna have a lot that we're gonna need to grab. Because, yeah. And it's mainly going to be sheerly for, like, combat anyway. But the pogos are also going to affect me differently, because the only two I'm actually, like, versed in any form are the Hunter and Reaper crest, as well as the Witch crest I'm a little more versed in. The others I'm not as versed in. So it's going to be a lot more of a learning curve for them. But I'm excited for it. I like doing little challenges and stuff. Okay. Do 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 do. Yeah, as we slowly build this down, we'll be good. It's just gonna take some time. Do do. Okay, then I can just... Boom. Then I can just do that. Yeah, we are filling in so much of this. Thank God. Okay. And as we slowly fill this in, we will gain more of this being done, and we won't need to worry as much. Win-win. Okay. Okay. Yes, look at this. Perfect. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up making a playlist specifically for, like, stream music for Halloween that I can safely play. Like, I'm gonna try to do a bunch of research on it so I can do streams like this more without having to worry. I could just use Nintendo music for when we're streaming and whatnot, because I can get away with certain ones, like, from certain games, but not others. Like, there's certain ones I get away with. Others, no. Because Nintendo is not as big on their music copyright or anything, or like DMCA because it's video game music, etc. And it's more complicated. I'm not knowledgeable on it to that extent. I just know it can be played in a lot of videos and streams without issue. It's weird. Okay, Okay. We are building through this the best we can. That internal worry of having to end early is just like, please no, please no, please no, please no, please no. Because yeah, I am... Yeah. Right now it's literally if I get a certain message. So I keep checking here and there. / replying, relating to other stuff that's important. Of course. You know, it loves to rain in my world. Lord knows why. Okay. I mean, it's good that we're doing this because it means it's going to be cleared off our list. I have so many cool ideas that I want to try. And it literally just comes down to luck and getting it done and resource gathering. Luck and resource gathering. I have so many fun ideas, though. If I can figure it out one day, I'd love to transfer this world to a server to invite some people for, like, a world tour one day. Like, some of my friends. And then, like, do a build that I can transfer back to my, main single-player world. Just so we, like, have those types of things. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Okay. Yeah. There we go. That should be fixed. Doo-doo. Yeah, we have all sorts. Okay, we can do that. Do 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 do. Gosh, there's so much. You ever think about how beautiful the skies are, like, when they aren't, like, polluted? with, like, too much of certain things, because, like, the red part of the sunset isn't really natural. But it does make you wonder, like, if you've ever been out, even with, like, what we can see through what our atmosphere looks like now, due to, like, the pollution, etc., but it's incredible to look up at the sky with no light pollution or anything. Imagine what it looked like with no, like, smog or anything in the atmosphere. It's just, the thought of it is beautiful. I mean, it's very obvious why some would see it as the divine. Because it truly is divine to see. It feels like you're looking at something you shouldn't know. This thing that is beyond comprehension. Because of just the beauty of it. Like, I know it's galaxies, stars, and space, but to comprehend all of what each of those that they not only exist, but the possibility of any life or organisms and, like, all of its purposes, how many are living stars still or haven't faded yet for us. Like, it really makes you think of, like, holy crap. It's just gorgeous. And it makes you think to yourself about just, wow, all of this exists. While we may be small, we have such this small point of the universe, yet so much of our lives are spent here. And there's so much that we make a difference on, even without realizing. And it's just cool. Like, for some reason, the universe put us on this rock, floating in space, just habitable enough for us, where it gave us this life that we never would ever expect. And you can see these galaxies of possible creatures and life, even if just a microorganism. Like, it's beautiful. And then how different planets and stars align and move. It's gorgeous. Makes you wonder. It's probably under the ground. Okay. Gosh. Okay. So, if I just... There we go. And we still have 2 full ones and a near empty one left, and we are almost done. We're gonna finish this today. We are going to say that we have completed the stone foundation of the mound. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. I was crazy once. God, that just popped into my brain. Okay. You know, despite everything, being as weird as it is, I am thankful for a lot of some of that weirdness, because sometimes you need it. Otherwise, life would just be too boring. That's how I look at it. Life would just be boring without weirdness. I mean, gosh, without weirdness, we wouldn't have science the way we did. It takes a special type of weird to be able to understand all that from comparatively, to be able to experiment with it and go, let's do this, and if it explodes, it explodes. Like, honestly, I just love the thought of that. Just two scientists look at each other. What if it explodes? What's the worst that happened? It explodes. And just being like, something along the lines of that. And then the other one just being like, and? What's the worst that happens, you say? Oh, it'll be fine. If it explodes, I'll use you as shield. Just, that's the type of banter I imagine from two friends who are scientists. There's all sorts of weird, because friends have some of the weirdest banter, in all fairness. What? Why did it explode? I wasn't even near it when it exploded. It just went boom all of a sudden. I'm like, what? Bro just wanted to blow up. Do 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 do. Also, did you guys hear about EA getting sold? Like, EA of all companies got sold. And if I remember correctly, the Saudi and Arabian government was involved from when I read it and stuff, and I'm like, what? Like, that was one of the things that stood out to me the most was, wait, why are they involved? But I have a feeling a lot of stuff from EA is just gonna get absolutely just destroyed or screwed over. Like normal with these types of things. I mean, not like we're losing too much. I mean, you got the Borderlands series if you like that, Split Fiction, few others that is just kind of like, oh no, not the soccer games. Whatever will we do without the constant soccer games that never change? There we go. Look at that. I definitely want to learn how to do note blocks more. I'd love to set up like a little note block thing one day. And it's just like this note block thing that when it goes through, it plays like the Mario Galaxy theme or something. Just something cute. Do 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 do. Oh, I have an idea. One that plays the do 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 do. Do 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 do. Just full on, like, that'd be awesome. Hey, Rowdy, how you doing today? Hope you are well. But yeah, I could totally use the Diamond and Pearl, like, intro theme and build, Spear Pillar just for the lulz. That could actually be really fun to do as just a random build and then try and learn note blocks just for that. And even if it's not the full thing, just being able to have the Azure flute sound, the diddle-dun, diddle-dun, right in front of like where Arceus spawns, like the steps and stuff would be awesome. It'd be a cool little Easter egg thing. And even if it's not where Arceus spawns, just where one of the legendaries spawn. I could even try and do like one of their themes, the frickin' And if not that, then there's also the da 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 like there's so many different themes that I could play for that. Be awesome. Do 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 do. Honestly, I really want to get a bunch of people together for Phasmo, because that would just be really funny, but also really fun. Because we know there would be the scaredy cat of the group. That's just inevitable. Then you'd have the smart ones, who know way too much. There's always one of those, who know way too much for their own good. Then you have the person who loves to stay in the van. Then you have the person who dies all the time. That would probably be me, in all fairness. The question is, who's the one with plot armor? I feel like if anyone were to have plot armor, it would probably be, like, Rowdy. Despite being, like, scared half to death by something, he would be the one with plot armor. Just saying. Because it's always, like, the most random person, too. Who just somehow, some way, they're lucky enough to have plot armor. Do. Let's go empty our stone out. Ouch. And then I can, boom. 3 empty shulkers. Which I can put up here for now. Look at all them shulkers. Crazy. Okay, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4. At least. And then I need shears, which... Actually, I might have some in the tool chest. Yep. You know, we should totally decorate our place for Halloween one of these days. Or, like, for other seasons. That might be a fun idea one day. And boom. Where's a place I can put these guys that won't be a big issue for me? I don't want them to fall anywhere is the issue. You know, I know. Put them in here. Ba-do-do-do. Making sure none are waxed. Hello, little guys. Now they'll all, like, stay around that. And we can let them oxidize. That's what I actually need, is them to oxidize. Because I need their statues. Because that's one of those things that we just need. Okay. I want copper bars. Oh yeah, I also want copper chains. And then we have copper lanterns. God, I'm so excited to use these types of things. I think I want to leave these iron, but I could totally put these on top of stuff. But I've been waiting for the copper so I can do a few things in here. Because I specifically wanted to do this and let it, like, oxidize a bit. God, that looks cool. Like, that looks so sick. There's so much stuff we can do. This is the other thing I want to finish eventually, is the dock. But now, for this, I want to add that type of thing to some of these. Because, like, that looks like supports and whatnot, but I like the idea of having these small, like, copper bits and whatnot as well on some of this. I just don't know which ones I want. I think, like, the iron and stuff is okay up here, but I'm not sure fully. Here, though, what I want to do is test a look. And boom. And this will oxidize over time, too. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad. If I do it to the two sides, like that. Oh yeah, that gives it a cool little look. Boo, boo, boo. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. Okay, let's see how this looks now. Yeah, I think that adds a bit of the layer excess I want. I just need to do, like, the upper part a bit. Because I need it to look a bit nicer so stuff doesn't also spawn in there, but that's a whole separate issue. Oh yeah, this oxidized completely. You know, I don't mind that. But in here, with the copper, I could technically do this. But I think it's too much to add. But the copper gives me so many ideas. Like, I am so excited. Because now, if we go in here, I can do what I wanted to with this if we ever, like, because I was thinking about how I want to do this, and now I know how I want to do this more specifically. And it's not going to be easy, but because, yeah, this middle part does not matter as much. So, what I'm going to do here... I might do something like that. Or... yeah, I think that looks cool. And then do like that. It gives it more of that look I want. Especially since you're not going to really see it from above as much. Okay, and then I can go boom. And then they have that middle piece. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the shears in this are broken at this point. So I probably will need to replace them, in all fairness. So I'll probably do that later. Okay. But now, with that, I can do these corners of... I need some stuff real quick. I know what I'm gonna do. Just depends if I have enough. Yes, I do. Yeah, I am, like, going full through this. I'm actually glad I'm doing it like this because it adds a lot more to it. Okay. Yeah, I don't really care how I get up here right now. I'm just doing this. Okay, and then I can boom, 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 boom. I can't remove every bit, but... There we go. I think what I'm going to do at this part here, though, is change this. Keep it like that. And then... There we go. And then... I don't think that'll do it, but I'm worried it will. Okay, and then I can go boom. And yeah, I'm gonna need to go through each of these sheep things just for the sake of, like, making sure nothing fell in, but yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, boop. 1, 2, 3, boop. Okay, so yeah, these two are the middle. Then I can do boop, boop, and then boop, boop. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I think for now, I'm going to want this. Yeah. Yeah, and then over here is a whole different story. I don't know. It's difficult, because I'm like, I really don't know what I want to do. Make sure nothing fell in these. Nope. 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 Okay. And what I'm going to do here is... Perfect. Okay, and then for this, I will just... Yeah, and then I can go boom, 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 boom. Okay. Copper chains don't matter too much, and the copper lantern's just cool. I'll probably put them like this. Or something. I don't know. I don't really need the lighting from them is the thing. But yeah, I think this turned out pretty okay. And yeah, if I ever need to get down here, I have this whole area. Which is perfect. I think that adds a lot that is needed. And it now looks a lot better. And a lot less weird. Yeah, I can't do this. Yeah, because I'd have to shift through. But I could reasonably... Yeah, that'll give it the look I'm looking for. And I can do it here as well, just for even sake. Okay. Next up is, well, technically here, but... because as you can see, I have, like, this as, like, things that hold it up. I'm thinking about... and I need to see how this looks. Damn it, it doesn't connect. I was hoping it would connect, because if it did, I had a really cool idea, but it doesn't. Down here is a whole other separate beast. And I haven't figured out what I want to do for it yet. But, with all this new stuff, we got so many options now. And you know what? I could even just... oh, this looks so cool. It kind of holds it back. And, like, if I ever need to go through, I could always do that. But yeah, I think, like, I could do, like, that. Or I could just make it, like, the one tall, but I don't think that works. I'm not sure. I'm still, like, thinking. I'm just glad that we got, like, copper bars and shit. Like, the Copper Age added so much stuff for us. Especially for my little builder brain. It go burr. Okay. Because, like, I could go up there and, like, change these out here and there, but I don't think I want to. Which is, like, the biggest issue. But for some of these, what I could do now is, like, this to give it just a little bit more oomph. But I just don't know if I want to. So it's one of those things of, do I not? Because I'm also, like, overly excited about this to an extent. I probably should take a moment to just think. Because there's just so much. So first off, copper chain, light, wood, slabs, fence/bars. But dang. We can also check on the copper golems while we're here. See if they've started oxidizing yet. Nope. They're doing their thing. I just need them to oxidize, in all fairness. But yeah. I'm thinking, like, here, I could technically do stuff, but I like the way this is set up. The only thing I want to change is, like, add a few darker, like, dark oak stuff in here. I think that'll be a good change. But yeah, I've been looking over this area a little. We got a bit of, like, fixing here for the terrain and whatnot. You know, I could put copper bars up on top of this. I know for sure that is going to have a lot of copper and whatnot. Let's go grab the map real quick. So that's how much was done last time we did the map. And now we have completed it. Just look at that. It is all stone. Okay. So, if we are to plan this out a bit more, I have some ideas, but I'm not 100% sure with them all yet. So that's kind of my biggest thing, is the lack of 100% sureness. Like, I know here I like the water being, like, a little more pure, but I want to add, like, some dirtiness under it. I want to add, like, layers of glass and stuff. Like, just to foggy up the water. Because then the water will be a little more foggy and, like, intriguingly interesting. But yeah, like... Because I feel like it should be, like, a little, like, darker in certain areas. Through this, I'm going to need to get rid of the grass. Like, inevitably. Oh, those glow squids literally just spawned. But, like, with how this looks, I like it. I just need to, like, cover up the grass parts. And I'm like, how do I want to do this? I have a few ideas, but not a lot. So I'm not, like, 100% on it. Here, I'm probably just going to, like, cover parts of it with, like, either stone or water. I'm just not sure yet. But here, I love how it, like, indents and stuff. You can see, like, bits here and there. I want to make some charred areas, maybe. Over here, I want to build a, like, broken down thing that's, like, semi-protecting it. That's, like, in ruins with, like, some moss coming out. But, like, not a lot. Like, oh, bumped my mic. Like, it needs to be the just right amount. I still need to add, like, dirt patches over here and stuff. Just to kind of add a bit to it. Like, those are the main texturing things. The other main thing I need to do is over here, I've debated whether or not I want to turn this to stone or fade it into a new biome to create. And I think I'm going to fade it. But it's going to require me to do a bunch of, like, terraform stuff, just like over here. So I'm going to need to get rid of a lot of the grass. So I'm probably going to dig up most of this eventually, or cover it. No in-betweens. I'm just not 100% sure. I need to get, like, moss and, like, kind of bring it around a bit more. Clear these out. Those are the main things. The other thing is I want to add some stuff to, like, the trunks of these aspens and whatnot. Just so that they're a little thicker at the base and just give a little more of that trunk look. Not too much. I've collected more diorite to use at least, so it's not like I'm out of it anymore. Because this had taken my original stock and just depleted it beyond. Oh yeah, I forgot. I have all sorts of excess stuff here. Should have grabbed a bunch of stone from here. I didn't even remember. Then my other beacon. And then all of this because I still need to do some of these aspens, and I'm probably going to have to create a lot more. So that's going to be a pain. In terms of the museum, I might as well mention I have thought of the path idea for this. I'm going to be replacing this though. In terms of in here, I have some plans for how I'm going to decorate this. But one of the things I want to do is I want to go visit a museum to get a better look at it, so I can kind of figure out how I want to do the lights and sky stuff more. For this, it's gonna have like that going around, but I want to have like some lights in the floor as well in places. And I think the best way is probably with like sea lanterns and stuff, because it just makes a good light. Some mushroom block as needed, but for the golems, I'm thinking because there's only 4, I might put 2 here, 2 over there. Since there's the 4 oxidized states and the 4 poses. I was thinking about either that or putting 1 on each of those and then 2 over here, but I just feel like upstairs makes a lot more sense with like the other relic stuff. Like you have all the pottery sherds. I could even put 1, like I could put them here and here, like if I really wanted, or like in these corners, but yeah, I still need to do like the carpet stuff I plan to do and whatnot. With shelves, I technically could make this a lot smaller, but I prefer it being bigger. But shelves do give me an idea because I want to use some of them on this near like the bottom just to give it that little bit of texture for some of them. I know like when I come through here again, I want to like add some personalized grass as well. So that's another thing I need to do. Like, I'm just kind of going over this with you guys, so if there's any ideas you have, I would greatly appreciate, because I love extra ideas. For this, I am debating, making it, like, a darker stone and stuff, and maybe adding a gradient, but I'm not sure. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. The villagers over here, I plan to build a... Jeez, I'm almost dead. I plan to build a dock/fisherman house to house the new villager farm. Because I have 2 right there. So that's kind of the main thing I'm gonna need to do. I just need to, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 blah. That's the other main thing I need to really do. Over here, I still haven't done the bridge. I still need to do the bridge. But, as you might have saw, I did do the work in here. We have this. We got, like, this area. You got some heavy core usage. Scaffolding behind there. And then I did this for, like, places to hang the harnesses? Harnai? I don't know what the plural of harness is off the top of my head. It might just be harness. And then up here you have like a little seating area / place where they'll do like prep ups. I thought about putting the harnesses up here as well. But I decided against it. My happy gas keeps breaking off the lead. I don't know why. Turbo likes being cold right now. And these guys are doing pretty good. I definitely want to add a skeleton and zombie horse in there eventually. I think that'll be a very good thing to get done once those are unlocked. When the Nautilus is unlocked, I had a thought. Since it is a water-based pet, possibly getting it up over here after it's done. So, like, it's in, like, a little pond. I think that could be cool. Of course, it's all just an idea. Either way, though, I am going to get going. And for those of you who are not already part of it, !dislab in the chat, where we have the Discord. All sorts of people over there. Might make some new friends. Who's to say? I announce whenever I go live, as well as if I'm sick in any way, etc. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. CST. The days I don't stream, YouTube. A VOD comes out on the VOD channel where we have all sorts of stuff from the Minecraft series to Terraria to modded survival.